Good evening, guys. I think it is evening, and welcome once again to Cats and Conspiracies. It's your man Codders here, and that's me doing what I can to try and introduce you to some hidden gems, movies you may have missed that are out there in the ether, which I certainly think deserve your attention. The reason I like to kind of find these films and bring them to you is because uh, I'm done. I'm done with Hollywood. I really am over it, and it's just noise now. And I can't help but think everything has its time. Everything has its time in the sun, and nothing can stay amazing forever. I just don't. I don't even think it's possible. Everything has to crash, go up and down at some point. Nothing stays up there forever. And maybe that's what's happened. Maybe Hollywood, maybe it's had its day. We always assumed it would just be there, being incredible and amazing and bringing us the most groundbreaking, inspirational films forever. And it's kind of a given that it's there, but maybe it isn't. Maybe this is it. Maybe its time is done. I mean, aside from, let's say, Tom Cruise, who, everyone loves Tom Cruise. I haven't got a problem with the guy. He's done countless incredible films. But apart from him, is there any Hollywood draws around? Are there any stars around now that had the draw that Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Harrison Ford, those kind of people used to have? Now, you used to hear, oh, there's a new Schwarzenegger film out. You would go and see it. You didn't really care what it was about. It had Schwarzenegger in it. You were going to go and watch it. Is there anyone around like that now? And I kind of think, like I say, I love Tom Cruise. He's incredible. But even when I look at him now, like he although he looks great for his age, he is aging, and he's gonna naturally be tired, and you just can't stay on top forever. So maybe he is coming to the end of his time in the sun, and that's not me slating Tom Cruise in any way because he's a great guy. Um, so I just don't feel there is anyone out there now. It's like Hollywood doesn't have this handful of major power celebrities. You used to see some of these people like Harrison Ford, Kurt Russell, and you never really knew anything about them. They were enigmas. They were mysterious. And if you saw them on an award show or something, it was kind of like the only time you would see them as who they were, not playing a character. And it was kind of weird. It was kind of spooky. But obviously now we just know everything about these people. Apart from the smart ones, I'll bring Kurt Russell in because I know nothing about Kurt Russell. The only thing I think I know that he said was, we're jesters. We're just playing a part. No one's interested in anything we've got to say. I don't know anything about him. Keanu Reeves. Do I know anything about Keanu Reeves? Apart from he's clearly a spiritual, deep thinking guy. Who else? And I think someone else help me out here. Anyone think of anyone else? Uh, Anyone? I'm struggling to think of anybody else who is just a great actor and keeps it to acting, and everybody loves them. No, I'm struggling to think of anybody. Stick it in the comments if you can think of people like that who just keep themselves to themselves and create amazing films. So anyway, a bit of a ramble there, but what have I come off the back of? Oh yes, I came off the back today from seeing the child actor from who's playing Lilo from Lilo and Stitch shitting all over the original film. Why? Why have you got to do that? You're just going to get people's backs up. Now, I'm not interested in a remake of Lilo and Stitch. I don't think anybody else is, other than the normies who want to go and look at the bright colours on the screen and amuse themselves for an hour and a half or however long it is. But yeah, I saw a clip of her and she's acting pretty obnoxious, to be honest, which is a bit sad. But she's saying, oh yeah, well, this is better than the original. I know she's kind of making a bit of a joke there, but it's like, Lilo and Stitch films like that are massively well loved films. You coming along and going, yeah, it's better than that. You're just going to get people's backs up and you're going to piss them off. I'd have far more respect for these people if when they came along and they're working with something like Lilo and Stitch or Snow White, and they came up and said, we are working with extremely well loved properties here, really well loved characters, and we've got to do everything we can to treat this with respect and bring it to the screen in a new way that people are going to love. I'd have a lot more respect for them if they said something like that, but no, they all want to come along and shit all over the originals. Even if they did say what I just said, I still wouldn't have any interest in seeing these films because I just don't see the need for any of this whatsoever. When you've got a film that is so well loved, Disney films, Lilo and Stitch, Snow White, Aladdin, all these films that are just so well loved, there is no need to try and make another version of it. If you had a film that, let's say, the storyline was great, but it was just terribly put together, they couldn't create what they wanted to, but the story was great, there was an idea there, and someone saw that, and they said, I think we could turn this into something. This could be incredible. I love this story. This has really inspired me to make something. I think you could kind of justify it then. But to come along and go, yeah, that original film was crap. We're going to make one that's much better. Now you're just gonna piss people off, and they're gonna get off on the wrong foot straight away. So anyway, after that rant, what have I got for you today? I can bring the picture up. There it is. Now, some of you may see this pop up and go, yeah, I've seen this. But I am surprised how many people have not even heard of Running Scared. I was one of them, never heard of it. I was introduced to it by a friend of mine, and he didn't even sell it to me that well. He was like, yeah, it's really good, and this happens and that happens. But I still knew nothing about it, so I went in extremely blind. And this film, just to prove it to you, there you go. He's got his own DVD copy. They cannot take that away from me. Strongly advise, guys, if you love it, buy it, because they will delete it. They will get rid of it. They will take it away. If everything's stored in cyberspace, even if it wasn't intentional, one EMP is going to wipe it all out. If you love it, buy it. There are films where they're editing stuff. Just don't go there. You don't want to be in that situation. So, Running Scared. This film, this is from 2006. This film is insane. This is an absolute head fuck. This film is crazy. Okay, it is absolutely awesome. Definitely one of my favorites. I think everybody needs to see this. If you've had enough of all these soft films that have been coming out and you want to watch an adult, grown-up film, this is the one for you. This has got everything in it, okay? This has got the lot. It's got the full frontal nudity. It's got the violence. It's got the dodgy dealing, the gangsters, the threats, children in trouble. This has got every single thing you could imagine which would get a film an 18 rating. And this is very much a well-deserved 18 rating. So who's in this? Obviously, you've got Paul Walker playing Joey Gazelle. He's such a cool character in this. Like, he is badass, but he's got a heart. This guy's got a heart. He's a family man. He cares about his wife. He cares about protecting those who are weaker than him, who are vulnerable. And you got a lot of respect for this guy. Incredibly cool. His wife is played by, I have to read this out, strange, Vera Farmiga. She plays Teresa Gazelle. And she's awesome in this as well. Again, she's quite a tough woman, bit of a badass, but she's still got that feminine, motherly, nurturing energy running through her. And that's why I think these guys work so well together. There's so many, I couldn't even list them all. There's so many faces popping up in this film. You've got David Warshofsky. It's hard for me to pronounce some of these. He plays a pimp in this, and he is such a crazy, awesome character. John Noble, does that guy need any introduction? Elizabeth Mitchell and Bruce Altman turn up in this film, playing two characters that you will probably never have seen in any other film before. I'm going to come back to that. Just to give you an idea what this is about, kind of reminds me a little bit of A little bit like Lock, Stock, Snatch, a little bit where you've got a small thing that happens which starts off this domino effect of events, which completely cascade, ends up them going to different places, interacting with different people, and things just going from bad to worse. So the story is quite simple, really. You've got Paul Walker and his wife. You've got a son. They live next door to this complete loser guy who is, by the looks of it, trying to create meth or something in his house. And he's got a kid. Sorry, his girlfriend's got a kid. And their kid comes over and plays with Paul Walker's kid. And essentially what happens is the mother and the guy playing the stepfather of this kid next door, they're not the best parents. Let's just put it that way. They're not the best parents. And this does happen fairly early on, so I'm not particularly going to be giving away any spoilers, but the kid shoots the dad. He's called Anzor. So the kid shoots Anzor, freaks out, and does a runner and disappears off, taking the gun with him. It turns out that the gun he used to shoot Anzor was a hot gun that was used in a murder. Paul Walker was stashing it. This kid has stolen it, and the gun is now out there on the streets. And Paul Walker is being harassed by his badass mobster friends that he needs to get rid of this gun. And why hasn't he done it? Now, Paul Walker knows if this gun turns up anywhere, he's dead. It's all over. He's finished. So he has to go on the hunt with his son to try and find where this kid has gone, to where he may have taken this gun with him. And the insanity just follows on from that. It's such a frustrating film where this gun just keeps getting passed from hand to hand, and Paul Walker is always just 2 steps behind and never seems to be able to catch up with it. And obviously he's taking his kid on the ride along with him. You've got all these guys chasing after him. He's trying to keep them sweet, telling them, yeah, I've got rid of the gun. But he knows he has to find it and deal with it properly, because if he doesn't, he's dead. And there are so many other things. You've got dirty cops in this as well. You've got other gangsters coming in. The police are after him as well. Everything is going on in this film. It is a complete, insane roller coaster. This film is deeper than you realise. Something I didn't particularly notice when I first watched it for the first time, because I was just blown away by all these images, is there's actually like an allegory for a lot of fairy tales in this film, and you will notice them when you're looking for it. For example, when the kid goes into this certain house and he's looking through the medicine cabinet trying to find an address, written on one of the medicine bottles, it says Hansel. So it's like Hansel and Gretel. You've got Paul Walker, he's like the big bad wolf. You've got the pimp, he's like playing the king. There's all these little sneaky little allegories in there, and I never even noticed this stuff the first time I watched it. There is a good video on YouTube, actually. I'm trying to think who it's by. It's by Good Bad Videos. I can't remember what it's called now. Good Bad Flicks, or Good Bad Flicks, I think that's what it's called. And they do a really deep dive into Running Scared, talking about how they made the film, how they had to get permission from the John Wayne like family legacy to be able to use his image in the film. There's a really cool scene towards the end where it's filmed in like a ice skating rink, ice hockey, and they've lit the whole thing up with black light, and I think they had to spend like $100,000 on these black lights, which I assume when I watched the film that they were just there anyway in the stadium, but they weren't. They had to install these things so they could get this really cool image at the end. There is some pretty disturbing stuff in this film. Now, without giving spoilers away, but just a little word of warning. If you have seen this film, you mention this film to anyone, there is one scene in particular which will get spoken about. And maybe that's the reason why this film has not got so much, isn't so well known. Perhaps it's difficult for people to promote this film with the scene that's in it, because it's possibly one of the most realistic, sickening, disturbing, upsetting scenes I have ever seen in a film. And I can't think of any other films that touch on this subject as brutally as this film does. So there you go. Intrigued? You will be. In fact, the characters, Elizabeth Mitchell and Bruce Altman. Elizabeth Mitchell, you will recognise. I think she played Julia in Lost. You will definitely recognise her from that. And Bruce Altman, who plays her husband, you will also recognise him. They actually struggled to find actors to play these parts because no one wanted to play these awful, horrible, disturbing characters. So it was quite difficult for them to get someone who wanted to play it. So I won't say any more about it because if you want to go and watch it, I want it to be as much as a surprise for you as it was for me. I do believe that the director said he wanted to do something that was quite similar to Pulp Fiction. When Bruce Willis gets taken in the back room by the cop, Zed, and the pawn shop owner and the pimp comes out. He said it was just the way that film was like going down this certain path, and suddenly it just flipped on its head. And he said he wanted to do something similar in this and completely flip it on its head. And well, I will say he certainly did succeed in that. The images in this film are so unique. There's a really cool scene at the beginning where a bullet goes through the window and you see kind of Paul Walker sort of looking at it, and then he kind of sees himself as the bullet goes through the window. And I believe they used the back of Paul Walker's twin brother's head to film that scene. But there's loads of great scenes like where things like that happen, like the bullet comes through the window and it sort of, the camera sort of like goes stop, and it stops, and it sort of goes, and it sort of reverses, and like see the bullet go back, and then it kind of replays again. There's a few scenes like that, and it's just so cool. It's so arty the way this brutal film is filmed, and it is a very brutal film. And at the end of it, you will need to lie down. I've talked a lot about the brutalness of it. Let me talk about another part of it, which you would think, how is that possible? But this film has a really, really heartwarming element to it. Like Paul Walker, the character, really cares about his wife. He cares about his kid. He cares about the neighbor's kid. You know, he's a bad guy. He's a badass, but he's a badass with a heart. You know, he has his faults, sure, but his morals are bang on. He does care, and he wants the best for these people. And there's some really, really sweet moments in this, which you kind of need as relief from the brutal slog that the rest of this film is. So if you haven't seen Running Scared, I strongly advise you to go and watch it and strap yourself in for a very exciting, crazy, adult, mental, and also heartwarming ride. I wouldn't say this was a high budget film. It's not low budget, but we're not talking Hollywood numbers of money here, despite the cast and despite some of the scenes in it. But one thing I can guarantee you is this film, Running Scared, is 1,000 times better than anything that is showing in any cinema right now. And if you want to have a fantastic evening and really enjoy the film you're watching, go and check out Running Scared. And don't think this is just one for the boys either, because, like I say, it's got those heartwarming moments in it as well. It's not all pure violence. There is something for everyone in this film, as long as you go into this fully aware this is a grown-up film. So there you go, guys. Running Scared. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. And of course, stick something in the comments. Let me know what you think about Running Scared, or if you've got any other little hidden gems out there that you think I should check out. And until next time, I'll see you around. Take care.